Well, we have found yet another major problem on the C8. As you can see, I've got the C8 up on the quick jacks, and I left earlier today driving the car for the first time, and my wife calls me. She doesn't call me very much. She calls me and says, hey, there's oil all over the garage when you left. Like, what? She sends me some pictures. You see them on the screen here. And I was like, wow. I was just 3 miles down the road at a business talking to the branch manager, and I said, huh, it's interesting. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it. So I leave and I pull out and I see this picture right here. Now that is a lot of oil from driving just 3 miles. Now, mind you, I did rip this car. I ripped it completely. You see how big of an oil patch there is. I was only there 15 minutes, and the little swipe on the outside was me putting my finger in it so I could look at it. Yep, it's oil, and then wiping it on the ground. That's how much oil is on there, and I'm very worried about this. We'll slide under here and start taking a look. I'm really hoping that it's just like an oil filter or drain plug, and unfortunately, looking at those two things, it's not it. There's a lot of oil coming from over here in this area, which there shouldn't be. Wastegate there. Oh my gosh, you will not believe what I just found. You remember that rattling I showed you way back in the video of assessing the damage? I'm hoping that can go in there. Yeah, right there. Look at that wastegate bracket. It's off. That is absolutely amazing. So all I gotta do is fix that somehow. No idea where the oil is leaking yet. I've looked for a few minutes, and one, I'm glad Rich isn't here because he would never be able to hop up into a Corvette and start it since it's on a quick jack.
Boom, roasted.
So I'm gonna start this thing and just let it run and see if things start spilling out and where they're spilling out at, and see if I need to take apart that panel that you would typically take apart to do the dual clutch transmission filter. It's a lot of bolts, and I don't even know if I've got the right tool to take those bolts off, but let's get her started. So when I drove it earlier today, check engine light came on, and then it's saying my blind spot indicators are not working. Don't know what's going on with that, so you can see those are both on. And we got good oil pressure, 31 PSI. We're up to 109 trans temp, 127 water temp. So I'm just kind of getting it up to temp because I want to see how much oil is actually in the vehicle, because that's going to be a big ticket on this. And then also by getting it up, probably leaked out more when the vehicle was off. So I want to see if that happens as well, because so far it has not leaked at all while it's running here. Well, that's not good. Not a lot of oil. See that smoke coming out of there? I don't know if you can see that on camera. Look at all that smoke come out of the dipstick. I don't like that. That's not a good sign. 𝘊𝘢 had it changed as Jiffy Lube, so I know at least have that sticker. All right, let's shut her off and see if any oil leaks out. Well, I haven't found any oil leaking, which is insane. So I'm resorting to taking off this undershield, which is now also reminding me that we need to get a really full-size lift in here, because this getting down on the ground multiple times over and over is absolutely ridiculous. This is very, very difficult work to do, and I still have kind of a little bit of a bum knee from my Utah accident, and that's being a little painful of getting in and out. So every time I need a tool or a new tool, that means I've got to get up, walk to there, where it'd be so much easier to not do it. So see how oil just dripped right there? I think hopefully that was on camera. Because I'm moving this and rattling it, I've gotten some oil to drip, but I think that's just on the undercarriage. Now that we've seen that the oil is in fact at the right level, it would be super nice to know that somebody just did a really crappy oil change on this, and that's all it's causing. But I don't think that's it, because there's really no way that oil should be coming out from these areas right here, because this is where it seems to be at, is in this area right here closer to the wheels. And I'm just hoping that this doesn't pop me on the head. Only thing I want not to happen. So I've taken this shield off before, when we did the transmission filter change, which also made me think while I was down here that maybe I should do that, because who knows if it's been done. I can't remember. I have to look up the owner's manual to see what the time frame is on doing that. Oh, there we go. There we go. So far, so good. No droppy on the heady. All right, so that is all out. That is how much oil is on there. And this is pretty black. Smells like it's got fuel in it, which is not a good sign. Let's look underneath. All right, so I've inspected this, and now this whole thing is your oil pan, right? Your oil pan is really super long in the C8. So I mentioned the oil drain, so you can kind of get a reference on there. And looking at it, there's no obvious sign of oil leaking. So when we look up there, there's nothing like super high. It's all down low. So I haven't messed with anything yet. I haven't touched a bolt to see if there's a bolt loose. I wouldn't imagine that anybody would have this oil pan off for any reason to have a bolt not tight. But although this right here should be just from oil dropping. So I don't know, this is really odd. And by no means am I a mechanic. I've never done this stuff before. I'm learning it, and I like learning it. This is actually a lot of fun for me. But there's no oil back here. It's all just centrally located right here. So I'm gonna clean this stuff off. That's your transmission filter right there. Is this the oil plug? Wait a second, am I an idiot? Is this an oil plug here that they've been dropping? What is this? What is this right here? You see that oil right there? Look at all the oil on that guy right there, that nice silver thing. There's all sorts of oil on the bottom of that. Well, I haven't seen an oil leak yet. It's been running for about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna rip it down the road because that's how I got the oil leaks to start. Last night when I discovered this oil leak, I parked it in the garage and we found it this morning, and I ripped it to the bank and back, and just massive oil. So I'm gonna rip it and see what happens.
A few moments later.
Okay, we definitely have an oil leak just by looking under it. It's caked with oil. The key is where the hell is it coming from? Like I said, we have definitely confirmed there's an active oil leak. That, my friends, is a lot of oil. My guess is it's coming from right here. So earlier, when I had this all cleaned off, I thought I saw some little bit of seepage right there where that drip just happened, right here. There was a little bit of seepage down here. So my guess is coming from this seal. And by looking at these bolts right there where the light is at, that bolt right there, that bolt has definitely been turned. So the people who did the transmission work most likely screwed something up right here. So we'll have to figure it out. And I'm going to tell you, my suspicion is accurate. That was just cleaned off, and it is definitely actively leaking. As you can kind of see it coming back right here. See that? So it's definitely leaking. So whatever that seal is called, I would think that that's all we have to do to fix it, but that's most likely dropping the engine out. Fun stuff. Well, it's definitely that seal that I was just pointing out, because there's more oil dripping from that right now, and it's Friday night when I'm recording this, so I'm gonna have to contact Andrew with Complete Street Performance up in Philly to see if I just need to ship the car up there. And Rich is on vacation right now, so I'm gonna talk to him when he gets back and see what he recommends and see if it's something that he can do. Obviously, he's never worked on a C8, but he's extremely intelligent and he can work on it without any issue, which I'd rather have him do it than send it up to CSP, because that means I get the car faster and I don't have to pay for shipping and all that stuff. But Andrew is definitely the people that I love to deal with, and we'll just have to figure it out.